Hi everybody in English 050, this is Ms. Young. We've got kind of a lot of information going on here at the end of the semester, and I want to kind of cover that with you in this little video. This video is going to tell you a little bit about the writing proficiency, the course grade, and the final, and how all those will impact your ability to pass the class. And then I've got a few odds and ends things I'm going to cover at the end of this video as well. So a couple little weird things there at the end. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to go over all three of these components in more detail in just a second, but just to kind of give you an overview right now, there are three components to passing English 050. Now, I want to be really clear, you only have to obtain two out of the three. It doesn't matter any combination of these two out of the three things. First, you have to get an NC or higher, meaning 70% on the course final. Second would be obtaining a pass on the writing proficiency, which is our last module right now. The third would be an NC or higher, again 70% on the overall course grade. Couple things before I move on. First, the N before the C, or if we had a higher grade, NC and B and A, whatever. That just means that it's a non-transferable credit, so don't panic if you see that N in front of it. It's still the same letter grade, like A, B, C, D, that you've always been used to, but the N just indicates that it's a non-transferable credit, so just in case you see that, don't panic. Okay, second other thing I want to point out here, again, you have to pass two out of these three. So the course final and the writing proficiency don't actually impact your course grade. We do this because that way if you get a D on the final, but you pass the writing proficiency and you have a pretty good course, you have a B in the course, for example. That way that final doesn't drag down your course grade and drag you down to a C or a D even. So be sure that you kind of keep those things in mind. One other thing, with those first two, if you have say you don't do so well in the course final or you don't pass the writing proficiency, that doesn't mean you haven't passed the class. You have multiple opportunities here to get all two of those components. So kind of keep that in mind as well as we proceed forward. Okay, first thing I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about is the course final. Alright, one big thing, and I've got it bolded here so you can't miss it. I want to reiterate this to you. If you don't take the course final, you will automatically fail the course. It's really, really important that you take the course final. Can't stress that enough. Okay, a couple other things. Course final is proctored, so be sure you're making arrangements to attend one of the proctoring locations. Springfield and Richwood Valley campuses are walk-in at the testing center. Testing centers there. The other campuses, so Lebanon, Table Rock, Waynesville, if you're closer to any of those do require an appointment with their testing center, so you will need to get on OTC Online and contact them. You can usually just find like their testing center phone number and contact them to find out how to do that. The final will be open from December 5th to December 12th. It closes it on the 12th at 3 p.m. So again, make your arrangements to do that before then. If you need to go off campus, you have to fill out a form and submit that to me. I will be linking down underneath the video a couple links for where you can find out more information about that. Generally, most people just take it at one of the OTC campuses, and so it's not that big of a deal. Okay. A little bit more specific details on the course final. It's approximately 30 multiple choice questions, so that's something to keep in mind. You can use your book and your notes, but usually people rely too much on that, so you still need to prepare. So two ways that you can prepare for this. First, I'll be posting a study guide next week for that, so you'll have a good understanding of what those are, and I've modeled the questions on the study guide exactly. They're not exactly the same questions, but they're modeled after those questions. So kind of keep that in mind. I've also reopened my writing lab, so you can see there are the multiple choice questions are a lot like my writing lab questions, so you can kind of get a better feel for those. A couple other minor things. It is pretty reading heavy, so be sure you're not, sitting down to do it after you just gotten off work or you're a little tired or anything like that. It takes most of my students in the seated classes about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to complete it, so be sure you kind of dedicate plenty of time to it and you're well rested. Okay. Second component. That's the writing proficiency. That's this last module. The whole module is sort of based around helping you succeed at completing this writing proficiency. So it's the essay we'll be writing about pretty much the last 2.5 weeks of class. Thanksgiving does interrupt it this semester, but you can still keep working on it over then if you need to. This essay is, instead of me assigning you, a specific kind of prompt like we've done in the last couple, there are 4 prompts for you to choose from. Those are listed under 6.1 assignment sheet. So you'll want to kind of go through that, read through those, read through all of them, be pretty thoughtful, and kind of decide which one you want to write about. You only need to pick one. Couple things. This essay is not assessed by me, your instructor. It's assessed by a committee of other O50 instructors. So it's really important that you make this your best work all semester. And that kind of leads into my last point here. Don't procrastinate on this assignment. It's really important that you make this the best essay that you can. Again, now let's say you don't pass it. That doesn't necessarily mean that you don't pass the course. It just means that you have to also have the grade and the get a 70% or above on the final. So kind of keep that in mind. We're still peer reviewing it, and you're still getting points for that peer review. So you'll get feedback from me and your classmates before turning that in. You'll also be receiving the same rubric that the grading committee uses, so you can use that as a checklist to kind of assess your own essay as you go through, and you should be doing that. Couple other things. It's due by Wednesday, December 4th at 11:59 p.m. I'm not taking late submissions on this. Again, I'm not assessing this assignment, so it's really important that you get this turned in on time and ready to go. We'll be grading. The committee meets from Thursday, December 5th, over that weekend, and they will be returned by Monday. So by Monday, you will know what your grade is. It'll be posted if you pass this. And the writing proficiency is graded pass, not pass. So you can kind of keep that in mind as well when you're writing it. Okay. Course grade. This is the last component. To be considered passing, your course grade has to be a 70% or higher. Now, right now, if it's not at 70%, don't panic. Exactly. But just know that you just need to be sure and keep turning everything in. There's still lots of stuff you can turn in. Still have to turn in paper for the research summary. That's I moved the due date back to next Sunday on that one. So be sure you're looking at that. Another peer review. You're going to get points for that peer review for your writing proficiency, so that's worth big points. A few discussion boards and minor assignments here and there, just like we always have. And then I have reopened all those My Writing Labs. If you want to turn those in for partial credit, you need to email me. And I will tell you which ones you're missing, and you can go in and do those, and I will give you partial credit for that. So be sure you can kind of keep that in mind. That's another way to help raise your grade if it's not where you want it to be right now. One big thing, don't slack off during these last 2 weeks. I know everybody's tired and everybody's just looking forward to Christmas, but please, please, please don't slack off during these last 2 weeks because they're pretty crucial. So kind of keep that in mind as you're going forward from here. Again, if you have any questions about any of this, please use the open forum on Blackboard, the open forum discussion board. A lot of times people seem to have the same kind of questions about this, so if I can kind of answer it there and just refer you to that answer, that would be easiest instead of sending emails back and forth all day. So if you have questions about that, use that open forum and I will be happy to answer those there. One last thing I wanted to kind of mention, I've taught quite a few O40 and English O40 and O50 classes as of now, and I have not ever had anybody pass my class that only passed the writing proficiency in the final. So be sure, what I'm saying is don't rely on those two things. Don't just check out these last couple weeks and rely on those two things to get you through to the end. So be sure you're still working actively on your course grade and all those kind of things. All right, thanks guys. I will see you later. Have a good day.